Six Flags Great America is a top-tier park. Not just for the Six Flags chain, it's top-tier period. I've been here 4 times, and I've loved every single minute I've been there. They have a collection of 15 coasters, and it's possibly the most well-rounded lineup in the country. But today, we're not here to talk about quality. We're here to strip these coasters down to their nuts and bolts, and take a look at them with an objective view. Let's find out which one's the tallest, fastest, longest, best paced, and rank them up based on prime ride time. These are the coasters of Six Flags Great America, by the numbers. If you're new to this series, prime ride time starts when the front car starts to pick up speed off the lift, and it ends when it hits the final brakes. For launch coasters, prime ride time starts when the launch starts. Mid-course brake runs are left in. These do increase the ride time, but they'll hurt the pacing. With the help of Google Maps and the Pythagorean theorem, I can take out the lift, station, and brakes from the overall length, so the number you see on your screen will not match what you see on the roller coaster database. In 15th place with 18 seconds is Sprocket Rockets, a Vekoma Junior coaster. This park doesn't have a true kiddie coaster. This is kid-friendly, but it's almost 30 feet tall and goes over 21 miles per hour. It is the shortest coaster in the park, but only by 1/10 of a foot. It's also last in speed, second to last in length, and third to last in pacing. Whenever you see the smallest coaster not having the worst pacing, you know there has to be a wild mouse somewhere in the mix. In 14th place with 22 seconds is Max Force, an SNS launch coaster. How crazy is it that this packs in 5 inversions in 22 seconds? It also has to be one of the most powerful launches in the world, going from 0 to 78 miles per hour in 1.8 seconds, and that is the top speed in the park. It rises up 175 feet, which is very respectable, but that's only 4th place. That's always a good sign for the park. It covers a total of 1,671 feet of prime ride track, a surprise to nobody, and the train rips through most of that, just slowing down at the top of those big inversions. Still, it's number 1 in the park in pacing, covering almost 76 feet per second. In 13th place with 23 seconds is Joker, an SNS free spin. This is a very unconventional coaster. It's meant to be compact and short. I mean, how long can someone stand being flipped around randomly? It stands 120 feet tall, but the max drop is only 54 feet, good for 12th place. It tops out at just 38 miles per hour, also 12th, and it's down in 13th place in length, covering only 701 feet. These stats are pretty pathetic, but this ride works for what it is. It delivers a chaotic experience that can't be tolerated for too long. 23 seconds seems about right. In 12th place with 33 seconds is Little Dipper, a PTC family wooden coaster. I think it's really cool that Great America gave this coaster a new home. When the nearby Kiddieland closed in 2009, and while the chain was going through bankruptcy, the park saw a chance to add a new ride on the cheap, all while saving a classic. This provides the park another family coaster they really needed. Anyway, onto the numbers. This only covers 334 feet of prime ride track, by far the least amount of any coaster in the park. It's only 1/10 of a foot taller than Sprocket Rockets, and its 25 mile per hour top speed is also second to last. All that being said, thanks to those slow turns in the figure 8 layout, this has the worst pacing, covering just over 10 feet per second. It's been at the park for over 10 years now, but it's been in service for over 72 years. In 11th place with 34 seconds is Goliath, an RMC topper track wooden coaster. Look at Little Dipper, then look at Goliath. Consider they're only separated by 1 second of ride time. Not all ride time is created equal. Goliath tears through the course, covering over 62 more feet per second than Little Dipper, ranking second in the park, just about 3.5 feet per second behind Max Force. That 180-foot drop is in 3rd place, topping out at 72 miles per hour, which is also 3rd. Now that Lightning Rod is a steel coaster, I guess Goliath is once again the world's fastest wooden coaster. It may be one of the shortest RMCs, but it's got a pretty decent rank in its own park when it comes to length. With nearly 2,500 feet of prime ride track, it ranks 5th. In 10th place with 36 seconds is Batman the Ride, a B&M inverted coaster. I should mention, this is the actual first ever inverted coaster. B&M really changed the coaster world with this one, and it's a model that still stands up today. It's not big, but it's intense. It's tied for 7th in height at 100 feet, but it's up in 4th place in pacing, though it does cover 10 feet per second less than Goliath. 3 coasters at the park hit a top speed of 50 miles per hour, and Batman is one of them, ranking 8th. B&M really focused on forces over stats when it came to their Batman model, and you really see that in the high pacing stat compared to the other stats. In 9th place with 38 seconds is XFlight, a B&M wing coaster. I think it's crazy that Six Flags, fresh out of bankruptcy and with a whole new business outlook, they still decided to buy a B&M wing coaster in 2012. It's not a big one or a complex one. It sits on a flat plot of land, and I'm really surprised this has never been cloned. I'm also surprised this only has 38 seconds of prime ride time. I had to do a double take. I would have thought it would land in the 50s, but here it is. It does rank 6th in height, speed, and length. You'd think a modern B&M looper like this would be longer, but remember, this was post-bankruptcy Six Flags. They didn't want to go crazy, and we're lucky to get something like this here. It has 2,411 feet of prime ride track, only 3,000 feet total. That being said, it's up at third place in pacing, about a foot per second better than Batman. It stays somewhat low to the ground and doesn't have many spots where it slows down. In 8th place with 42 seconds is Superman Ultimate Flight, a B&M flying coaster. You've seen one Superman parking lot flyer, you've seen them all. This is all about the gimmick of flying. Throw in some intensity with that pretzel loop, but in general, this was meant to be cloned. It's not going to be too long or too fancy. It's tied with Batman for 7th place with a 100-foot drop, topping out at 51 miles per hour, which is also 7th. It's got 150 feet less than Batman, so it's in 9th place in length, but Batman smokes it in pacing, over 12 feet per second better, so Superman is only 7th. We have those coasters that make sense across the board in every video, and today, that's Superman. In 7th place with 46 seconds is Demon, an aero looper. You don't see too many coasters add inversions after it opens, but that's what Demon did in 1980. This is a park original, still going strong after 45 years. Considering its age, and being one of the original inverting coasters, you're not going to get amazing stats. It's 9th in height, tied for 8th in speed, and 11th in length and pacing. The biggest killer is a slow turnaround after the loops. It also really crawls into the final breaks. This is why it has nearly identical pacing to Joker. In 6th place with 47 seconds is Vertical Velocity, an Intimate Impulse. I love it when these prime ride time videos throw me a curveball, and the Intimate Impulse isn't exactly cut and dry. It goes back and forth on the same track. By my count, it goes up the front spike 3 times and the back spike twice, making for a total of 5 cycles through the course. The track covered on each cycle varies, so the track length is a rough estimate. I have it covering 2,900 feet of track, which puts it in 3rd place. By this estimate, the pacing is a solid 5th, less than a half foot behind Batman the Ride. The height is also subjective. It doesn't go all the way up either spike, and the seat you're in depends how high you go. Just looking at the listed height of 185 feet, it's 2nd place in the park. Finally, we have the one stat we can be sure about, the speed. It tops out at 70 miles per hour, good for 4th place. Again, when you have 4 coasters at 70 miles per hour or above, that's a great sign for the park. In 5th place with 57 seconds is Dark Knight, a Mock Rides Wild Mouse. I was so interested in this one. When I rode this last time, it felt absolutely wild. I know everything seems faster in the dark, but it seriously felt out of control. I did the prime ride time video for Great Adventure, and their Dark Knight ran 64 seconds, 7 seconds longer than its clone at Great America. That gave me a little validation for my ride this past summer. I felt like it was going so fast through its course. All that being said, the one at Great Adventure covers 14.9 feet per second, and the one here covers 16.7. Not much better, and it's 2nd to last in the park. For good measure, it's also 2nd to last in height, speed, and 3rd to last in length. It falls completely flat with all the stats other than ride time, but I recommend you check it out. It's a good time. In 4th place with 58 seconds is Whizzer, a Schwarzkopf speed racer. For the first time ever, the Pythagorean theorem has met its match. The Whizzer is a spiral lift hill, and I don't even know how to calculate that. Each circle is about 137 feet around. There's 3 circles, so that's what I got. This is another park original, a really unique bobsled style ride, and kind of a big time family coaster. It's got a 36-inch height limit, but it has a 64-foot drop, good for 11th, and it hits a top speed of 42 miles per hour, also 11th. This does stay low to the ground for the most part, so its pacing is pretty good, covering over 40 feet per second and ranking 10th, 10 feet per second better than Demon. It's also a pretty long ride, more than 100 feet longer than Batman, ranking 7th. In 3rd place with 64 seconds is Viper, a wooden coaster. This Coney Island Cyclone replica is one of the better rides in the park, and with over a minute of prime ride time, there's a lot to enjoy. It's near the middle in height and speed, ranking 10th and 8th, but it's up at 4th in length, almost 300 feet longer than Goliath. This makes for a not so great pacing number, especially because of those big turnarounds, ranking 9th, and only placing a little over 2 feet per second better than Whizzer. In 2nd place with 70 seconds is Raging Bull, a B&M Hyper. B&M Hypers almost always deliver a long ride, of course, along with the height and speed. Raging Bull is the tallest coaster in the park, the only coaster in the park over 200 feet, and it's 2nd in speed, 5 miles per hour behind max force. It's the only coaster in the park with over 4,000 feet of prime ride track, but its pacing really suffers. It only ranks 6, right between Vertical Velocity and Superman, covering just 58.4 feet per second. This is even low for a B&M Hyper. It's 10th out of 14 in the world. It has a lot of high turnarounds, and the camelback with the train slows down, along with the mid-course, and that really saps all the speed. Otherwise, this should be in the top tier for pacing. In 1st place with 81 seconds is American Eagle, an Intamin wooden coaster. Clearing the entire field by 11 seconds, you have this monster Woody, Intamin's claim to fame as their first major coaster. For a 41-year-old wooden coaster, it holds up really well stat-wise. Its 147-foot drop is 5th. That 66-mile-an-hour top speed is also 5th, and it's 2nd in length, just 345 feet behind Raging Bull. It's only 8th in pacing, a few feet per second behind Superman, but a few feet per second ahead of Viper. If you want to find the culprit, look at the helix. It crawls through the first half, and then it just starts bouncing through the rest. It really seems like this would have solid pacing if it wasn't for this pointless element. That's a wrap on the coasters of Six Flags Great America, by the numbers. Let me know if anything surprised you, or confirmed something you already knew. I did not expect XFlight to only have 38 seconds of ride time, and I was surprised that Raging Bull only ranked 6th in pacing despite being 2nd in speed. I expected this park's start night to outpace the one at Great Adventure, even though the pacing still isn't good. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like and give me a sub if you're new here. Also, check out my playlist for more videos in this format. Also, see my links below for my Discord server, and my second channel where I post copyright-free off-road footage, and my new baseball channel if you also happen to be a baseball fan, despite there being no games right now, which is stupid. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.